Hello, my name is Misty Hedspeth. Today I wanted to share with you about the people that have died trying to come through Panama in order to head north to enter the border of the United States. There has been so much death and mayhem left behind because of our border being opened. It is a sad reality that not many people want to talk about or cover. There have been mass graves that have been made in order to bury the migrants who have been washed down the river. There have been children who have been orphaned because their parents who are trying to come up to the United States and drug them along have died. These children are either abandoned along the trail in Panama, or another adult companion, picks them up and pretends as if they are their child along the trail. Those that are left behind on the trail are then ushered along to someone, whether it's a police officer or someone from the government of Panama, and given over to them. We have many children who have been left in orphanages in Panama because there is no adult who is trying to claim them. That means the adult they were traveling with died along the way. These children are either left in orphanages or we try to find foster homes for them. There's one child in particular that our ministry has been helping at Hearts Cry Children's Ministry. This child was abandoned along the trail. Her mom took her north to try and get a better life. She had a life where they were living, but she decided she wanted the best life, and it was time to travel north with her daughter. Along the trail, she got sick and she died. Some of the people who were traveling with them carried this girl on along the way until they reached some policemen. And at that point, she was taken to an orphanage. Afterwards, the orphanage was able to get her into a foster home. And from there, we were able to get involved and we helped with psychological counseling with this girl on a weekly basis. Her foster father was so moved by her story, and he was trying to get the other children in the school she's now attending to understand what she's gone through, that he wrote a book. You see, no one can understand the horrific things that these children have gone through that pass through the Darien Gap. It's some of the most treacherous jungle in the world. For anyone to take a child on this trail is child abuse, in my opinion. And of course, this mom did not make it through the trail and her daughter was left behind. For her to try and fit in now in society is almost inconceivable. She's having so much trouble fitting in with anyone else in school. It's a Spanish-speaking girl and she's now in a Spanish-speaking school, so that's not the issue. The issue is the trauma that she endured on the journey. She encountered people dying all around her, including her own mother, people sick, very treacherous jungle animals, insects, and of course abuse, a lot of sexual abuse that happens on the trail. Almost every single woman that goes through the trail is raped. So how is this child supposed to fit in now at a school in Panama? Well, her foster father wrote a very sweet book, and it's a cartoon, and it depicts this girl as if she is a little baby jaguar, and the mommy jaguar tries to take her on for a better life, and then what happens along the journey.
So this is Butterfly, the Little Panther by Dario Ramirez, based in a real life story. The day went by and Mother was hurting more and more, even though she would only smile for Little Butterfly. They couldn't find food, and the jungle seemed it wouldn't end. And the fifth sunset in the jungle, Mother fell to the ground without being able to get up. She was very badly wounded. Little Butterfly started to be afraid by the tone of the voice of the owl, and she asked, "Where is my mom?" Owl looked at her in the eyes and difficultly answered, "Mother Panther, today is in heaven. She joined the stars and she's taking care of you from there." She said something she had trapped in her chest. I miss my mother. And then she started crying. The macaw hugged her so tight. Well, she said, your mom lives within you, the macaw said. Your roar was so loud that hugged our hearts forever. Then little butterfly looked at them and said, I want to live always with you. That's how they saw the sunset, and together they were happy.
I wanted to share that story with you because these people are real that are going through these tragedies. I wanted to share that story with you because how is that girl supposed to fit into society now? How is she supposed to overcome the horrible trauma she encountered on that journey? How is she supposed to get over the people she saw dying in front of her, her own mom dying in front of her, and then having to leave her mom behind and keep going on such a treacherous journey through the jungle for days and days and days with no food and no water? How is she supposed to now get into a foster family in Panama, go to a Spanish-speaking school? She's a Spanish-speaking girl. That's not the issue. And she's just supposed to start fitting back into society. This is a very hard hurdle to overcome for this girl. Our psychologist is doing the best she can to help her through it. That's our psychologist that was speaking, reading the book that the foster dad wrote. She was literally getting choked up and in tears reading the book because of all the therapy she's been doing with the girl and then reading her story from the perspective of this little baby jaguar. We have to stop allowing children to come up the migrant trail. It is a trail of tears. It's a trail of horror. To allow children to witness these kind of horrors and then expect them just to fit into society afterwards, it's not going to happen. We are hardening children. We're allowing them to be abused. We're allowing them to carry drugs. They're being exposed to not only the elements, but absolutely the worst things in society they're being exposed to. Will someone please realize that this is not a political issue? This is absolutely a humanitarian issue, and it's going on under our watch. We have to stop letting children come up the migrant trail. They should not be allowed to cross into the United States unless they have all the proper documentation and are traveling with the proper adult companion that has the documentation and authority to enter this country with them. I know it looks harsh, but if you stop and you say no to the few that are standing in front of you, then guess what happens? The thousands of people and thousands of children down the line will get that word and they will stop coming. How do I know this? Well, just a few months ago, whenever Biden went to the border and said that he was not going to allow the border to be open anymore, the first time he said that since taking office, people heard it on CNN internationally. They heard it on the news in Panama, and the thousands of people that were sitting in Panama getting ready to take the buses up north to enter the United States, they got that word, and guess what they did? They got on a plane and went back home. There were suddenly a lot of people who had enough money to get plane tickets to go to Venezuela and many other countries because they thought, I'm not going to keep going on this journey if the border isn't totally open like it has been. But of course, the minute Biden leaves, everybody starts getting word, no, it actually is open. So now they've realized it again and they're starting to come back up. What are we doing? We're allowing children to be trafficked, as the child that I've already showed you in the last video. We're allowing children to be orphaned on the trail because there's no way even a legitimate person that's wanting a better life for their child and trying to come up north to help them, they can't survive a lot of the times. And the remnants are being left behind all along the trail. Please wake up and do something about this issue. Please get involved. Please understand this is not compassion, allowing these children and these adults into this country illegally. The only way to effectively protect children internationally from coming on this trail is to control the border, completely check all the documentation for all the individuals, check their backgrounds, and they have to do it from their home country. Thank you for listening.